We walk through our school gates every day, indifferent to the things we pass: trees, buildings, people. Something changed one day and everybody noticed. Trees are something that many of us take for granted, but at Parkdale Secondary, trees are few.
The bus interchange has always been on our agenda. If you look at, I should grab this map of the school, it's always been on it. What we were able to do is access some money, and for the first time in about 4 years we were able to say go ahead with it because we got money from the Ministry of Transport, and that money allowed us to build it without getting other funds from the Department of Education. Well, the bus interchange, as I said, is part of the bigger program of the school. The blue here is our existing school, and the yellow is the new part of the school in the future. This is the bus interchange, and so the bus interchange is our northern border, which is where the houses are. The existing entry will stay the same, it will be slightly widened. Buses will come in, they'll work right down to where the old canteen area is, and then they'll come out right opposite the street here, Clare Street. Within there we've got parking for about 90 different car spots. You've then got an ability for cars to come in here and park, and they can only come out this way. Buses will be able to park along here, and there'll be loading spots for students on this side, and right up here we can load 6 to 8 buses at any time. The construction begins today. Literally, they have put in the office site and the toilets and everything else for the workers. All the fencing is now, right through here you'll see fencing, and it will take through to the middle of June before it's finished. It has to be finished by June 30th. One of the big issues that we need to look at, as you know, coming down from this north corridor, we now have a fenced off area and the students have to move through a very small walkway. But also the students getting out of the school are now coming through this pathway here out to the crossing area. So we've got those two there, as well as that they can go out on the far side over to Wyatt. It certainly wasn't difficult to make. This was an opportunity that we would probably only get once. The idea that we can take buses off the road and have them in this area, therefore safely putting students on the buses, was an easy decision to make. The present situation where we've got 6 buses out the front of the school, students running between buses when they're not supposed to be, is a recipe for disaster, and my great concern was we'd have a student knocked down sooner or later. This takes all buses off the road, students can be loaded there, and then the other students will come out with the crossing anyway. The other part to understand is that all Warren Road has been redeveloped, and there will be risers in Warren Road to slow the cars coming down. Absolute problems of cutting down those old existing trees. We've got little shelter left. So what we're looking for is in May we will be told we're going to upgrade, which is all this. Now, if we find out that we are, then we'll start planting along this southern area here and also through this part here. So we'll be putting in some trees there just to shade things off, as well as to give some cover. Not so many places at the moment. But one of the things we'll do once this redevelopment has taken place is we'll have a major replanting area. The reason we're not doing it now is simple. If we started to plant through here, outside the canteen area, this is the 3rd stage of development, and those trees would have to be cut down in 2 or 3 years' time. So it's probably a waste of time. We're looking at getting some seating and everything else for the students, as well as some shade sails put up that won't have to be moved. There was not one tree there that was a local or indigenous tree. They were all imported trees, they were introduced species. The other aspect is that we can replant in a way that allows the school to have some form of planning for their environment. Rather than just putting trees in, we'll look at the overall nature of the school. For instance, we're looking at major redevelopment of the ovals down the back here. We've already planted about 150 trees along the back. But what we need to do is put it out as a plan rather than just planning ad hoc. And that's what we're aiming to do once we know about the next stage of development. Well, I don't worry about the local community in the image. I worry about whether I've got enough trees for shade and everything for the students. That's my primary concern. Certainly we will plant in around the bus area for shelter. We'll also plant through this area where the students now sit, and there will be planting done on the ovals once the ovals are reconfigured. which is going to happen in the next 12 months. Once that's done and this other major redevelopment has done, then we can plant trees knowing where the shade is needed for students.
The front oval was, as many people have stated, one of the nicest places in the school. It was lush with trees and had greener grass than you can imagine. Students used this area as a nicer place to go when studying in their free classes, as well as sitting on the grass with your friends at lunch. Now they have nothing. Things will never be the same. With the front oval under construction, and the majority of trees in the school grounds cut down due to previous construction, students are now forced to seek shade elsewhere. Many of the school's trees have been cut down during the construction of the new school buildings. However, none have been replaced. The absence of trees at Parkdale Secondary College has outraged the students. Are we now expected to wait what could be years before the construction is completed and we can finally have trees again?